Anderson Silva is boxing Jake Paul. I'm just going to give my initial reaction to the boxing match and also the press conference. A lot of people are saying Anderson Silva is too old and Jake Paul is just going to knock him out. I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe Anderson would, just take a contract to fight Jake and take a fall, is what a lot of people are claiming. Anderson has been a fighter his whole life. He has too much pride. If you guys seen when he fought Chael Sonnen in the UFC, Chael was saying so many bad things about Brazil. He was claiming the Nogueira brothers fed a carrot to a bus because they're so ignorant in Brazil. And Anderson Silva was losing that fight against Chael Sonnen in the UFC. And in the 5th round, after being dominated by a wrestler the whole fight, with like a minute or two left in the fight, he's able to wrap his legs around Chael's neck and get a choke from the bottom. That shows his heart, okay? This man has heart, and he's not going to throw a fight to a quote-unquote Disney kid. He's not going to do it. He knows it will tarnish his reputation, and I just can't see him doing that. He will try his best to get a win, and his path to victory against Jake Paul is to jab, stay long, make Jake miss because Anderson has good head movement, but do it while keeping your hands up as well, and stay away from Jake's power right hand. And I think Anderson can do that. I really think he can get the win. I'm like 60-40 for Anderson to win. If he wins, it has to be like a decision or a TKO. Jake's tired. That's how I see him winning. A decision or a TKO because Jake's tired. Remember when Jake Paul fought Tyron Woodley? Both fights, he was exhausted. 8-round fights, he was exhausted. And in the second fight, they barely threw any punches. And Jake was exhausted before he caught Tyron with that right hand. He was exhausted. You can't get exhausted against Anderson because he's actually has good fundamentals for boxing, and he can make him pay. Not like Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley wasn't throwing any volume. He doesn't make you pay when you miss with a punch. He was known as the frozen one late in his career because he just stand there and look at you. Anderson's not going to do that. He beat Julio Chavez Jr., who was once a boxing champion. So I think Anderson has a very good chance. Jake has that power, and I don't want to see Anderson's chin getting tested by Jake. And I think Anderson knows that Jake's best weapon is his right overhand. He just got to stay away from Jake's right hand, and he'll be fine. As far as the press conference, all this buddy, I think Anderson, it just comes from Anderson Silva's a very respectful person. Brazilians in general, if you watch MMA, you know that they're respectful people. Paulo Costa comes to mind nowadays, but he's just, he knows that you have to market yourself, and he's doing the memes and everything. But for the most part, Brazilians are very respectful, honorable people. So that's why there's no back and forth with Jake. I think Jake is also, he was a fan of him. He did admit that growing up. So don't take this niceness for Anderson's gonna fall. He's going to take a dive. I don't believe that at all. Anyways, it should be a good fight. I got Anderson winning this fight by decision or late round TKO. Actually, scratch that. If the fight is close, they're not going to give Anderson a decision because the boxing wants their young guy who's undefeated to stay undefeated. So if it's a close fight and maybe Anderson should win because he got 1 or 2 rounds very closely on Jake, they'll give it to Jake. But Anderson, I could see him winning with a TKO. That's what I'll say about that. He could win with a TKO when Jake's tired. That's my thoughts, guys. Let me know what you guys think. And, yeah, stay blessed. Peace.